Okay, see how this works. I'm going to show you how to do a not really show you how to do a build. I'm not going to go through the build process because it's too hard to do on camera, but I'm going to show you how to modify your UD AGI hybrid Genesis / dripper tank. Alright, first things first, I'll take it apart. I'll show you. Comes with drip tip. Comes with a different one. I'm using this one. This one's off my K101. Alright, so if you were going to use it as a dripper, of course, that's where you would drip. Take this off. Here's the coil. I did a sort of a custom. This isn't a typical Genesis build. I used Silica wick and I used my Bakero wire, the 0.8 by 0.1 Bakero wire, 3 wraps around Silica. And what I did is on the 2 holes right here, because there's normally a screw in this hole here when you're going to use your typical Genesis build with your stainless steel mesh, yada 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 yada. But we're not doing that. I didn't do that because I don't like that build. I don't like the way that the stainless steel mesh tastes. So instead, I took my Silica and I ran it through here, and I ran it through these 2 holes. All right. So this hole here would have been where your typical stainless steel wick would go down, or your stainless steel rope, or whatever. So I have one wick there, the other wick going for the typical Genesis negative post. All right. But since this is a hybrid, you can build it this way, since it comes with the 2 posts. Hoping this isn't blurry. Comes with the 2 posts. So instead I did my negative, my positive, Bakero. Boom. Alright, there's down. Down there you can see the wicks in there. Glass tank. Alright, so now let's take this thing apart. Top comes off. And as you can see, it has the separate posts so you can screw it down. This is basically the dripper right here if you're going to drip. Alright, get that. You have your Pyrex glass tank. Then you have this. Alright, here's your bottom. Now, the typical way that these come is there's a spring in the center. And I'll show you this. This part unscrews. Alright, so what you see here is how it normally comes. And then there's this little tiny spring that goes in there. I'm not going to bother even showing it to you. You know what? I will show it to you. Alright, my little bag of goodies here. Show you what this stupid little spring looks like. I still have it, because you never know. But this is the bag that comes with the AGI when you buy it. There's a couple little spare parts and some O-rings and, you know, stainless steel mesh. Stainless steel mesh is in here, but I don't like it. It's my old stainless steel mesh wick. Junk. A couple O-rings. Another O-ring for the bottom. Should be this O-ring in here. And then these are, comes with 2. This is the spring. This cheesy little thin spring. And I guess what ends up happening is when the spring is in here, it tends to not want to fit. It tends to get too hot, and the spring gives whatever. I'm not even going to bother putting it on. But anyways, you can see where it goes, right? It goes on there, and it, you know, starts to give, or it breaks, it pops, especially when you go into sub-ohm and all this other kind of junk. So we're not doing that. By the way, this right here, this is your screw that goes in the spot where I have one of my wicks. An extra post screw and a couple of these little Allen wrench screws here. I'm going to show you that in a second. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. Get out of here. Don't need this in the picture because it has nothing to do with this. Alright. So, there it is. It's all taken apart. And what I ended up using was a little tiny piece of copper tubing. See that little tiny piece of copper tubing? So instead of that spring, which tends to break, this will last forever. So this is right on there, right where that spring would have went. So now you have a better connection, and it's not going to break or fail on you at any point in time. So now I'll show you how to put this together, and we'll add some juice, and then I'll show you how it vapes. So first things first, put this back on. And this I like to tie on pretty tight. And then another word of advice, which I found out, is don't get any juice in this center tube. If you get any juice in here, it'll short, it won't work, and it'll just give you problem after problem after problem after problem. At first, I didn't know what was wrong, and it was driving me crazy, and I wanted to throw the thing away, but I figured it out tonight, actually. Hence why I'm doing this video. Put the glass back in. Put your wicks back on, if they would function properly. Of course they won't for this video. Alright, screw this back on. Nice and tight, snug. That way you get a nice connection. Use your Allen wrench. There's a little Allen wrench screw right here that we need to take out. Let's do that. This is your juice hole. This is where you put your juice. And Heidi's in the kitchen laughing at me because I said juice hole. Stick it in your juice hole. Alright. Get out of there. Alright, that's it. This tiny little screw. Take that out of there. Take our juice. This is the Mount Baker strawberry shortcake. Throw some of this in there. And normally you probably want to use like a needle tip, but I use this little plastic tip. It seems to work. And basically when you're filling this up, try and get this in there as far as possible. See if we can see the juice as it pours in. Yay, happy juice. Now, you fill this up, of course, as far as you can get it. And what you'll notice is if you get almost to the top, you'll start to see a little bit of juice there. See that? Kind of coming out of those two heads. So there, now we got a full tank. Put our little Allen screw back in the screw hole. Bear with me here, folks. I don't know how to edit, so you get to see everything as it happens. And this thing will go like way deep in. You could screw it all the way down if you want to, but I don't. It's not necessary. And there you go. You got a full tank with the juice. And then what I like to do, since it's the silica wick, you don't really have to tip it like you do with the normal Genesis. So I kind of throw a little bit of juice on here to begin with, just to kind of get everything started. And also this is firing at 0.9, which fires pretty good with this single coil. Throw this back on. And of course the stock air hole is way too small on these, just like it is with the iGo W's and the iGo L's. It's same thing. This one, I believe, was done at 3/30 seconds. Or not 3/30 seconds. I want to say this was millimeters. So it was probably 1.5 millimeters. Possibly 2. I don't know. I didn't drill it. It was drilled at the store. Drip tip back on. Put it on my K101, the semi-fresh battery here. Alright, let's adjust the camera so you can actually see what I'm doing here. Sure it fires. Actually, I'll show you that. Fire, vapor, alright. Of course, always put your air hole next to your coils. not so bad. 0.9. There you go. That is the UD AGI hybrid dripper / Genesis tank, and these are the modifications that you should do to make this thing work properly. Build your wick however you want. This is just how I prefer it. Maybe next time I'll get my hands on some stainless steel rope and eco wool, do the sleeve hybrid wick system. But for now, that's how I have it set up. I like it. So hope you enjoy and keep on vaping.